This episode of A Hero's Journey podcast is brought to you by S&P Inc. Let them rebuild your confidence. JPS Computers out of Oregon. Alex and Jesse take care of me. Thank you so much. I build the websites. Go to heroesjourneypodcast.com, elvismonroe.com. You'll stumble on all this stuff. I'm excited to get into this. And I don't want to leave out West Coast Tattoo Parlor.
Yeah.
West Coast. I sent the next guest, I sent him over there to West Coast Tattoo, and my boy Rob did him up. I think it was Rob. But here's the thing. We go through life. We have people that come into our lives for a little bit. You have certain interests that bond you, and then there are times you feel like you're friends forever and it just sticks. And this is one of those. I have a guest on today who's a good friend of mine, and we go way, way back. We came up in the music business together, or there was a time in my career that we just seemed to be sharing stages. We shared the same group of friends and the same passion and same drive, and it stayed. And so when I asked him, he's in town for 311 Day, which is today. And I know that this comes out, this will be 312 when it comes out on Tuesday. But he came out here to see 311. And he lives in LA, and I live in Las Vegas. And Vegas is just a hop, skip, and a jump. So I want to introduce my good friend, Jason Jacobs. Everybody, what's up, dude?
What up, dude?
I said, do you want to come on the show? And
yes.
it was like
that fast. I was wondering how I can get on this. I was thinking about it.
Seriously.
Yeah, I really was.
Really?
I was like, how am I going to convince him to get me on this show? It's going great. The
Thanks,
show's
man.
going great.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. It's grown really fast. It's a little over a year, and I've had a good time doing this. But there are times, 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I just get a message from you, and then it turns into us jumping on a phone call for like an hour and a half or something and talking.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing about you and our relationship is that, like, you ever have those friends that, like, you don't talk to for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Months go by. But then it's like you just pick up, like, your best friends. Even a year's gone by, we haven't talked.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, bro, boom. Oh, bro, boom. And by the way, let me tell you a little something about you. So you're a phenomenon. And let me tell you the reason why. Let me tell you listeners the reason why Mr. Hopkins is a phenomenon. I was thinking about this. So, like, you have those, and we lived in LA. So you have your LA friends, right?
Yeah.
And LA friends are the friends, we call them surface friends, where bro, I love you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, dude, oh my God.
That's
like,
day one.
That's day one. And then what can you do for me?
Right.
That kind of thing. So you can kind of see through that. But you're a phenomenon in the fact that you're a very selfless human being,
man. Thank you.
And people don't trust that a lot. People want to see, is he really genuine, And throughout the years, I've always marveled at first of all, your tenacity with your bands and your T-shirts and your cars and your motorcycle, and everything he's done like thousands of things. I think he owns a board game at this point. But like, dude, it's crazy for me as a friend to just watch you excel. I remember way back when we played, you were in Asa Cruz.
Yeah.
And we played the little North Hollywood Park, the park.
Yeah, right across the street from where I lived.
we lived.
Yeah, you lived a block down the street, and I was right there.
No, that was when I lived on Otsego.
Okay.
So I was down, and we played a show together. And like, you're like, yeah, bro, I got a tour bus. I'm like, what? Yeah, I got sponsored by this. And I'm like, how do you get sponsored? What is he talking about? What's sponsors? What's this? And then, like, everything you've done. Here's the thing about you. If someone doesn't believe in manifestation, they should look at the past 25 years of your life.
Oh, thanks, man.
Because you really have manifested so much shit.
Thanks.
Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can.
Jory, am I allowed to cut? Please cut. Back to one.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say that before we
Thanks,
get started
man.
because like it's for me as an admirer and a friend and both in the trenches of music, just to watch you excel.
Thanks, dude.
It's phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
I remember one day. Oh, by the way, I wanted to give a shout out to West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast Tattoo. There you
There it
go.
is.
I
Whoa,
sent
whoa,
you over
whoa.
there. I said, you
Yeah.
got to go see them. Go see Rob.
That says
Yeah.
without instead in I'm not sure what language we
You,
decided.
you don't know what it is.
I don't know. We,
But you had it tattooed on your body.
yeah, it's a song I wrote. It's a song I wrote a long time ago, and we decided to do it. We did a couple things we were gonna do, but that's it. But yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Sweet dude, man.
You're very cool. Very cool.
And when you're getting a tattoo, you want to have like somebody that's comforting and
Oh yeah. And here's the thing. He's all tatted up.
I know.
He looks like he's out of some it's weird. It's like you wouldn't approach him. He's someone you would not walk up to. But the moment he speaks, you're like, "Oh, I'm good."
yeah, totally.
Like I'm totally good. Like yeah, and I wanted to hang out with him for 3 hours when he was
Sure.
tattooing me, and I want to go back and I want to
Yeah, I
send
do
people to
too.
him. I want him to be successful, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
a great
for sure.
artist. He's a good dude, and he's all blacked out.
Well, that's the
tatted.
thing I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Like that's the first time I've seen. So you get tattooed upon tattoos.
Yeah,
So he blacked out his whole body essentially.
and now he's putting white tattoos on top of it. Yeah, and colored tattoos on top of his black skin.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the place. But I had a really good experience. Thanks for sending me over.
Yeah,
there.
you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. But
But anyway,
Oh,
back
sorry.
back to you. So like, there are people. One person, you remember Tina Michelle?
yes,
Tina Michelle.
Yes.
So she, Tina Michelle and the Rhinestone Cowgirls and the Rhinestone Cowboys is her band. And I don't know what she's doing now, but Tina reminds me of you, where like you're both so genuine
thanks, man.
and friendly that it almost, if you don't know you, it's almost like there's no possible way this guy can be like this. There's no possible way because Tina is just like the sweetest and very communicative and very on top of like actually listens and responds. And like I say that, like that seems like a normal human thing, right? But in LA, it's not so much, is it?
Yeah, it's crazy. But here's the thing: we're transplants. Like I came from Oregon. I appreciate the compliment.
You're
It means a lot, man. Thank you. But I came from Oregon, and you came from Ohio. Yes, and like I was saying to these guys, I mean, you grew up with Rob Thomas. We came up in the music scene. You're talking about. I was in a band called Ace of Cruz because I want to get to talking about you. Pretty Sneaky Sis was the band you were in, and I remember like you and George on guitar, and Rob on drums.
Rob Jones,
Yep.
Yachtly Crew. He's
in Yachtly Crew now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get that. You should get him on here.
Yeah, no, I one day I tried to get the guys on because they have a
Oh,
residency.
was he too busy?
Yeah, he was.
I'm a little too busy, bro.
No,
That's Rob.
He's cool though, but he's like, I'll get my people and see if we can, come over and do the show. I was like, don't worry about it. Like I'm not sweating it.
He'll do
but,
it.
Yeah, he would do it. but I was trying
Who'd
to
be
get back.
fun too? Would be Kurt.
Who's that?
Kurt was he played in Rio with me. He was the keyboard player.
Okay.
You know him. We've hung out with him multiple times.
Okay.
He's really, really funny. He plays one of the keys in Yachtly Crew.
Oh, okay.
He would be happy to be on your podcast.
Okay. That'll be a total blast. But I want to get to you. And here's the thing, because you went in waves of like Pretty Sneaky Sis. You have the Duran Duran tribute.
yeah.
Yep, that you do, which you do very well.
Thank you.
And it's great. You're a DJ. So that's your day to day. That right now.
It is.
Would you say?
It is. No, yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is. And here's the thing. Like, so a little bit about me. I started. So I was in a band called Shock Lizard,
Yes. I
and
remember.
we're actually doing a new record, which is crazy.
Oh wow.
I know. Years later, 30 years later, 30 something years later. So I did the funk rock thing. So what happened to me was I went from Ohio to Florida and I went to UCF for theater performance
Oh, wow.
degree. And I was in the local music store, and they had a magazine called Jam Magazine. And back when you used to have to buy records, Jory, you used to have to,
Jory, yeah.
you used to have to go to places and actually buy things. I love those guys.
True story.
love
You know,
those
don't be jealous that they're younger than we are. So,
To be young again. So I looked in the magazine and it said alternative funk rock band looking for singer. Now, was I a singer? I did musical theater when I was younger, and in high school and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I think I could sing.
wow.
You know, like I would always sing along to like everything growing up and like harmonize with the Duran Duran stuff. And, you know, I got thrown into the fire because these guys were like the most insane musicians. They were playing stuff like 247 Spies and like Parliament and like Mr. Bungle type stuff. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
Right.
So the beauty of that was I get thrown into the fire with like, they weren't, you know, you remember your first band or trying your first band in high school, or like these guys kind of played instruments
Right.
and screwing up and stuff like that. It wasn't like that with these guys.
Wow.
So when they were playing me this stuff, and it was more like Chili Peppers type stuff, I wasn't into that. So the beauty of the Shock Lizard thing was like, so I was able to just put a spin on what that was. And my background was very singer-songwriter 70s stuff.
Right.
So amongst this like heavy, crazy, insane funk stuff, I was just putting these melodies on them. But I also knew how to scream. So that was good. So then from Shock Lizard I moved to LA, and Pretty Sneaky Sis was born.
Yeah.
And the way
that's the one we did a lot of shows together.
Yeah.
We came out.
The gig.
Yeah. The gig.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's when you donned your video with the helicopter thing.
Yeah.
When you're on the roof.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
dude.
totally forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts. And I
love the
directed
gig.
that video.
Yes, you did.
What's really cool is I started a production company just recently. Came out maybe 10 days ago. I shot my first video as a director with a partner of mine.
yeah.
Kevin Harold. Kevin was somebody that took on the bus with me and hired him to just shoot everything documentary style, put out videos while we were on the road with Three Doors Down. And so now he and I partnered. Well, it's getting to the gig, going back in those days, there was a band called Powder, and Powder was Phil X. Phil X had this crazy hair. He had his wife at the time, his then wife, was the singer, Nanette. And she would literally strip throughout the show until she was down to pasties. And I did shows with them and stuff at the gig as well.
Yeah.
And we came up together. Well, he's now in Bon Jovi, but he's from Phil X and the Drills. Like Phil X and the Drills. We did a lot of shows together at the House of Blues and the Key Club coming up. So we have a lot of history, he and I, like you and me. But I did a lot more shows with him. And so I'm shooting his next video in 3 weeks here in Vegas. And
That's amazing.
he saw the video I just did, and he's like, let's go. And I said, what do you want to do? And he goes, whatever you want to come up with. So I came up with Kevin, and I came up with a pitched it to him, and he loved it. So, and he's got the drummer from Five Finger Death Punch. He's an original drummer, Jeremy, who he was in Phil X and the Drills, joining him for the video. So it's gonna be fire. I'm really looking forward to it. So I love having irons in different fires, and
dude, that's all you do.
I love that over here, being a part of this over here. I'm finishing a children's book. I've got I'm taking
That
over,
doesn't surprise me.
I'm taking over the radio station in Alaska this week. I'm taping it, and they're going to air it next week. I'm throwing Jory on the show as well. This dude, Jory, is an artist as well. I'm going to have him on as a guest, have him perform here, sitting in that seat. So look forward to that. That's coming next. And Jory is a beast. He will not talk about himself, and that's what I love.
I love that.
But I want to let people shine that need to shine, be seen and heard.
Yeah, I love that about you.
Thanks,
by the
man.
way.
Well, no, that's why Hero's Journey podcast is about this, and that's why you called me and said, "Hey, man, I watched this episode that you had," and they said, da, 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 and we sit and have a conversation about the conversation I had here, and with somebody sitting in the seat that you're in.
Yeah.
And so when you said you were in town, you have to come.
Yeah,
I want
sure.
to talk to. The hair is standing up my arms because we have these conversations. What makes you passionate about music? Why you're diving into what you're doing now? You're doing music again. You started writing and just doing. I went to a show. Who was it that we went to go see at the House of Blues?
Oh, Nothing But Thieves.
Yeah, and that dude, amazing voice. Didn't even have to move on stage. He had a lot of presence in this little body standing there on stage. And that's what I love. And I love that you're out here for 311. I love that you came out for U2 on a whim at the Sphere. How was that? How was that
you
show?
know what was crazy about that? The day of, I got tickets for $350 a piece.
No way.
And when I say that to people, they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because tickets are like above 500,
Yeah.
1,000, whatever. The U2 show. All right, so my first concert ever was, and we could have this conversation all day.
Yeah.
83 Stray Cats at Boston Music
wow.
Center in Cleveland, Ohio. And then my second one was Duran Duran, Seven and the Ragged Tiger at Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland, right?
Okay.
But my third concert was The Unforgettable Fire in 1985. And The Call actually opened up for U2.
Wow.
And so for me, it was, and I wore that shirt. I had the Unforgettable Fire shirt still from 85, and I wore it there. And for me, Bono was, he was part of the reason I'm a singer, for sure.
Me too.
There's no doubt.
I get asked all the time. If
Yeah.
I could have him sitting in the seat and I could talk to him, I don't know what I'd say because I would have so many questions.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous that they're a band from way back in high school and they're still together.
Middle school.
Yeah, but just insane. And the Sphere multiple times over and over and over again and selling it out, here and kicking it off. Blown away. But why? Why is it that he was that guy for you?
Man, okay, so it went like this for me. It went like this. It went, and it's tattooed on me here. It's Ozzy, Freddie, Robin Zander, and George Michael. And the reason that I put these cryptically on me,
George Michael, dude, come on, dude
it's the best.
He was awesome, and
There's nobody better.
and it's crazy that he gets overlooked. Insane.
I mean,
I taught myself how to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I was in college on the baseball team. In my hotel room, you always had to partner up with somebody to share a room, and we'd be on the road, and I would be practicing singing his album.
Listen Without Prejudice. Yeah, for sure,
dude. Because it was so hard to do.
Oh yeah,
and I didn't know that I even wanted to be a singer, but he was somebody I taught myself, and I didn't even learn the whole songs. I just learned these
nuances,
things and falsettos and all these things that he did.
He's the best, and I will say that. Okay, so. Listen Without Prejudice, definitely. But like for me, but to go back. So I was singing in theater when I was younger, like 10, 11 years old. And so I was practicing to, News of the World and The Game and all the Queen stuff. And so I'm sure it's the same. So I played baseball too. And, my dad played pro baseball and all that stuff. So I was a ball player.
Yeah.
But after school, I had a mirror in full length.
That's where I acted like Elvis.
And and I have my stereo. Am I getting too close?
No, you're good, man. You're good.
And I have my stereo system and I had my vinyl, and I would play, oh my God, Cheap Trick, Heaven Tonight.
By the way, I played with Cheap Trick 3 times. Yeah,
See,
man.
now I'm
I opened for
now I'm
them
jealous.
3 times.
All right, I'm out of here. Thanks so much. Take it easy. Bye,
And
Tori.
you said Stray Cats?
Yeah.
Janie Lane from Warrant on my
Yeah.
21st birthday took me backstage at a place at this club and into a little room. And in the little room, the Stray Cats were opening up for Billy Idol.
Insane.
150 people in that little room and 2,000 people on the outside. Anyway, go ahead. So I
he's
was
amazing.
like, yeah.
And too, Brian Setzer is one of the greatest singers too.
Amazing.
But yeah, it was like Robin. So basically, what I'm saying is, it was like what formed my voice was Robin Zander and Freddie, and
Yeah.
then it was Ozzy. And I think Ozzy is one of the most underrated singers. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, his tone, his ability to move melodies around. And he's just got such a soulful voice for what he does.
Yeah.
And so that was what formed me. And I always wanted to sing, and I always wanted to be. I mean, dude, that's what I'm talking about. The mirror
Yeah.
in my room. I would stand, like, kids would be playing kickball or doing whatever after school. Not me, man. I would spend hours and hours. And I got to tell you, so when I said I could scream, I learned how to scream because at the same time that I bought Sugar Hill Gang, I bought Number of the Beast, and I bought Screaming for Vengeance. And I learned how to scream, right? I thought I knew how to scream. And as soon as I got into, when I got into Shock Lizard, fast forward to 91, I took opera. So I took from this wonderful lady, God rest her soul, Elizabeth Rancher, and she taught me how to breathe, and she taught me how to keep everything here, but the whole thing, the mask and this and that. So I could scream and get away with it. So like I was morphed from like this beautiful George Michael, Robin Zander, even Barry Manilow singer-songwriter stuff, but I loved Priest and Maiden and Ozzy. And then comes like Skid Row, and I'm like, Sebastian, I'm screaming. So I don't know what I was getting at there, but
Well, because I asked about you too. I asked about Bono and why Bono. And
let's go back.
Then you went down the.
I went down the rabbit hole.
Boom.
Yeah. Bono. There's something about Bono. Just his innocence and arrogance in his voice is what I love the most. I really do. Like, what a beautiful, beautiful tenor. But then he's got something to say, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Always.
like, yeah. And then as far as like being a front man, it's like,
And he's the one guy who could pull off sunglasses
yeah.
everywhere, all the time.
Everywhere.
Unreal.
Everywhere.
So cool.
It's like, I mean, even I guess as a kid, like, I mean, that was it. Like he, you have your Mick Jaggers and you have your Scott Weilands. And
Yeah. Scott was.
I believe the best
No, dude.
of our time.
Dude. Yeah.
Hands down.
Yep.
Hands down.
I chased him down one day. Remember North Hollywood Gold's Gym,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And not far
Oh, yeah,
from.
that little.
Yeah, still there. That's
It
where
is.
I lived. Yeah, I lived in that parking lot for 3.5 months when I moved to LA. I don't know if you know that story.
Right by Victory out
Yeah,
where NoHo
yeah,
West is.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So I lived in that parking lot. I used the UA Theater as TV and air conditioning because I worked from midnight to 7 in the morning at Jerry's Famous Deli. I get a job there, so I didn't have to sleep at night in the parking lot. I slept in the daytime. I used the gym as my shower and to work out. So I'd shower a couple times a day, then go to work. But they would let me sleep, pay for a ticket, sleep in the movie theater, watching movies, having, it wasn't the best sleeps and whatever, but it was only 3.5 months out of my life chasing what I wanted to do. These were the things that I was going after. I had a goal. I had money. I'd saved money and I continued. I had $6,000 in my car. If someone would have jacked me, they would have taken everything I had. But,
You lived in that parking lot?
yeah, in that parking lot. So anyway, I get a call from Dan Fine, my bass player from Paperback Hero and Ace Cruise, and he goes, "Hey, Scott Weiland is here at the gym."
Because he was at the gym. Because
working
your
out.
bass player, Dan Fine, is fucking massive.
Yeah, but he's a trainer there. So he calls me up. So he follows him in the car on the phone telling me where he's at, and I'm literally stalking him until he's pulling into this Mexican restaurant. I'm right there, boom, pulled up right next to him, stopped, got out, and I got to meet one of my heroes, and he talked to me for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Outside the restaurant. I was like, bro. And then
Yeah.
I see him in the back of a truck, all drugged out in my neighborhood, and some girl in the back of the truck. And he was all drugged out, and I didn't know what to do. And I just kept walking, and I was like, holy shit, there's my hero. And then it wasn't long after that, he was gone.
Yeah. No, I have similar stories
he
about
died.
Scott. So my first meeting with Scott was, excuse me, it was, so this is crazy lineup. The Edge in Orlando, Florida. It was Stone Temple Pilots, who I was like, I don't know who that is, but I think I do.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys,
Yeah.
the Beastie Boys, and so it was STP, Butthole Surfers, and the Beastie Boys,
Okay.
right? In this parking lot. They played first. No one really knew who they were.
Right.
But I heard Plush, and he was standing looking for whatever he was doing, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And I shook his hand, and I was like, "Big beer and a bag of chips, $5. You in?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I bought him a beer and a bag of chips, and we shot the shit. And I remember what he said to me. I was like, "The lyrics for that song, Plush," and he looked at me and he's like, "I don't know, dude. I don't know. They'll make sense someday to you, like they will to me." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I was just sitting in a pool in Miami, and I wrote them, and it works, doesn't it? Right?" And then he was just kind of like distracted.
Uh-huh.
I think he was on his way to
Yeah.
do whatever he's going to do. The second time I met him was towards the end at Sardo's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was sitting by himself.
Yeah.
And I walked up and I shook his hand. And yeah.
Sardo's is where they did that karaoke.
Yeah, Rockstar
right there.
karaoke.
Yeah. It was that parking lot. I saw them all drugged out in the back of the parking lot.
Okay, yeah.
Same parking lot, bro.
No way.
Same image. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So getting onto that, because here's one of our heroes, and he is gone. You know, and he went down the rabbit hole of not being able to, come out of it. I mean, what was he? Velvet Revolver?
Oh.
He, like that was a super group of band members coming together, and he gets
Sober.
to be the front man of it. It was insane, and they couldn't keep him sober.
No. Did you go to that Roxy show?
I didn't. I really wanted to.
You got to hear this story. So I'm with George, and we're on Huston Otsego.
Okay.
But you know where we live.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, Velvet Revolver's first shows ever is at the Roxy tonight. He's like, we'll never get in. He's always that guy.
Yeah.
Glass half, whatever. I love him, but God. And so I was like, dude, we're going to go down there. We're going to get in.
Yeah.
He's like, absolutely not. It's not happening. I was like, will you just come with me? So I went down to the Roxy. There was no way of getting in.
Right.
So I'm at the Rainbow, and I'm like, I looked over, and 3 dudes with food, they were catering, so they had the big trays,
Mm-hmm.
and they all had soda towels on their shoulders.
Okay.
And I was like, and I ran, grabbed a soda towel from the ground around the back side of the kitchen, threw it over my shoulder, and went like this, like I was behind them, like talking to them. And they had that camera right there, the door.
The side door. Yeah.
Yep. They opened up the door. They went in. They went up the stairs. I went hard left into the men's bathroom, and I closed the door. And I sat there,
Bro.
and I called George, and he's like, "Bro, did you get in?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Dude, here's what we're gonna do." I was like, in 10 seconds from when I hang up, I'm gonna open that door, and you're gonna come into the bathroom. And 10, 9, I open up the door. He comes in. We both get in a stall together. Because there's no one in the in the theater yet. And so it's him and I in the
So
bathroom
shit,
stall.
you're waiting. You have to wait there for how long?
We were there for about 30 minutes, but
Okay.
here's the cool thing. So when we kind of heard like Russell out there,
Yeah.
and we were in I'm sure you've been in the bathroom stall at the Roxy. So like we're just like talking to each other, like, what are you gonna do? And so we walked out. We walked down a little hallway and went right, and they were letting people in. And I was like, follow me. And we walked up and they were giving out commemorative t-shirts. And I still have it. It's killer. It says,
Wow.
so it's our first show. So the girl's like, what size? And I was like, large. He's like, medium. And then we were at the first at the bar. I was like, 2 Budweisers, please. And then we walked up to the front and we were right in front.
Wow.
Here's a funnier story. So the show starts. I've got one of those digital, remember the first digital cameras, like the Sony, the square one? And so I'm taking pictures and I have my camera case with me. And Scott was like right in front of me. And the guy, security's like, taps his shoulder. He's like, give me the camera. Follow me, give me the camera. And I was like,
Right.
so I turn around and I start to walk, and I had the camera case and the camera. And this girl and this dude caught my eye, and I handed him the camera like this. And I walked out and I was like, I got it, dude. I'm sorry. And he goes, dispose of it and you can come back in. So I just threw it like around the corner. It was the case, right?
Right.
And then the show went on. I was like, oh man, I'm not getting that camera back, right? There's so many cool photos. And they were waiting outside for me.
Oh, that's
And they
nice.
were like, dude, that was so smooth. So yeah.
You're like Ocean's 11 and stuff.
Yeah.
No, dude. So who was in that band actually? That
Duff.
was, Duff.
Slash
Yep.
Scott,
Yep.
Matt Sorum.
Yeah. On drums.
Yeah. And I'm not
Gilby
sure.
Clark. Was it Gilby? No.
It was a guitar player. I can't remember his name.
Oh, I thought it was Gilby. But anyway, no, dude, that was one of those bands. So I want to get to this because this is important in your life, and this is what impressed me
This
the
is
most.
the reason I'm here.
Exactly.
I know
And-
what you're about to ask.
Yeah. So you've been sober.
Yeah.
For how long now?
Who's counting?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
21 months.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Do you think where did this come from? Where did this?
Well, let's go back.
Yeah.
I mean, before I start to talk about sobriety,
Yeah.
I want to talk about like our heroes that are gone from substance abuse.
Right.
And I always admired you because you were always sober. And I was like, how is this guy hanging out? Like, he's at every party I'm at. He's having the same amount of fun. Same amount of girls are hitting on you and not hitting on me.
Shut up.
And I was like, what, and I always marveled at that. And I felt like, I've seen so many die, and I do want to talk about Ward.
Yeah.
We'll get to Ward.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, it was just a thing that I did. I always held myself together. Like when I toured with Pretty Sneaky Sis over in Europe, we did England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. I wasn't hungover. That was 2006. I played many shows where I would have drinks and stuff after,
Right.
maybe smoke a little weed, but it always made me a little goofy. I didn't like it. But I held it together until probably around, 2010, Pretty Sneaky Sis, our last record label, Sony, we got turned down, and then George quit.
Right.
He's like, dude, I'm done. And I'm like, nah, this isn't when we finish.
Yeah.
This is when we excel. He's like, nah, record labels, Spotify, Napster, it was Spotify, but it was like Napster and all this stuff. And he just quit. So I was like, what? So, and same with Shock Lizard, we had Transcontinental Records. I had Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. He's my buddy. He's in my back pocket. Rob Thomas is in my back pocket. We're getting help. And I think just that defeat, and I was a drinker, like after work or happy hour or whatever. But
Right.
I'd still get up and go to the gym, this and that, until around then. Till around 2008 or 9 is when I started doing circumstantial drinking,
Right.
where I was like, I don't want to think about that. So I'm going to have a few shots.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I'd feel fine. And then it started to turn into, then started the dependency on alcohol. And I feel like I was doing okay with my DJ business and working and this and that, but I was leaning on it and I kind of gave up on myself. I was still doing the Duran Duran tribute, and we did really well. But there was a 10-year period where I wasn't writing, and you were like, dude, write.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Constantly.
that. I love Rio. It's cool. It's fun. It's a show. I get it, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, because that's who I knew you as.
Yeah. And but I didn't think I was a good singer. I didn't think I was a good songwriter. It was all because of the fucking alcohol. Like
Right.
it was tricking me. So I'd do the thing where I'd like go do my thing and then come home and drink by myself and watch TV and then get up and maybe go to the gym. And then it was like get up and then walk to the liquor store when I woke up.
Oh.
Because I was starting to like get shakes and shit
Oh,
like
wow.
that. Yeah. So it physically got a hold of me right around 2018. So I fought back and forth with hangovers from 2010 to 2018. 2018 is when I started to like it seems really, really, really so far-fetched and like you can't relate, right? That I would wake up and immediately walk to the liquor store. That doesn't make any sense to you, but to an alcoholic, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So I would do that and I would get through my days sort of. Then the pandemic hit and I took myself to a rehab.
Really?
With a little help from Dunia, but
And that's your girl.
yeah, she took
She's
me into.
awesome.
She's great, and she took me into detox, and I was sober when I got into detox.
Okay.
You know, they were like, "You're the only guy that's blew," whatever. You didn't blow any alcohol level, whatever. The first detox, the second detox, I blew fatal.
Really?
I was dead. I know it sounds so weird.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got out and went straight to rehab, Gooden Center in Pasadena. And then that didn't, so to speak, stick, So I went to, I went to a couple relapses. And then, I got pulled out of the wreckage.
That's amazing.
I know.
I'm really, it's crazy. Like you go back to talking to me about, how we get on the phone and we just pick up from where we were and these, you're always so positive. You're always saying nice things. It's always uplifting for me to hear you say nice things about me. But I want to put a light on this because you changed your life right now. You have a second life. And I know because we both have a mutual friend that doesn't have that anymore. Yeah. And he was
who we thought was sober.
I know, dude. That's the thing. That's the thing that trips me out. I thought he was sober. I thought I had no clue, and it wasn't until later that I found out after the fact. But I want to commend you on like this is a great thing. It's one day at a time. It's something that
it is one day at a time. Not to interrupt you, but
you're fine.
Not to interrupt you, but like, so I stay in that community of, I talk with alcoholics every day.
Wow.
And I have a phenomenal men's group. And I do a panel at a transitional house in Van Nuys, where I bring a couple speakers and we talk about, our, who we were and who we are now and this and that. And like, just to be in this dismal place where these guys have just gotten out of prison and they have to be there before they go out into the real world. And just to share the message. And the guys that I've brought, it's better than, I don't know, dude. It's hard to explain. And it makes me believe in like, it makes me believe in like, we don't know like if baby Jesus is going to like come down from the skies or the horses and all, and the revelation, all the
Right.
stuff we read in the Bible. We don't know any of that, but I could tell you because no one knows.
Right.
But I have learned that like there's something about like faith. Faith is a very calming way to live, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have faith, then it's okay. It wasn't supposed to be like that kind of thing. I firmly believe that there is something, whether it be the energy of the universe or whether it be a fucking stamp or an apple or whatever you fucking worship, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Truly.
I get it.
Like there's something about like positive power, energy, and that word prayer, which, you know, I grew up in this Southern Baptist Bible Belt thing, and I was in fucking, you know, Sunday school, and I was like, anybody else buying that this fucker was in a whale? This guy are you guys really getting this? Does anybody really believe this? And then I would be like, and then I'd go home and put on Diary of a Madman. You know, but like, you know, there's something about sharing hope, and if they get it, totally whatever, you know, like I hope they get it like I got it, you know.
Good.
Because us alcoholics and addicts, we're a different breed. And you know it very well.
Let me tell you
'cause
something.
grew up with it.
I'm very aware of it. And that's why I've never tasted alcohol, why I've
I
never done a
know.
drug, why I've never smoked weed, why I've never, you know, and I'm sure there's positive things to having a glass of wine or, you know, like smoking weed, whatever it is.
And
Even
it wasn't
an
because
edible.
it wasn't because you were a prude.
No,
It wasn't prude.
no, it was
That's a funny word.
I'm 8 years old, and my dad asked me, he was singing lyrics, and I was reading them to make sure he was singing the right lyrics because he was a singer
Yeah, I
in the
know.
band.
So, yeah.
Yep. And so he asked me to go grab him a beer out of the refrigerator, and I did. And when I came back, he looks at me and said, "That wasn't right of me to do that. I'm your dad, and I asked you to go get a beer for me. That's my beer. And one day you're gonna want a drink, and I don't want you to hide it from me. It's gonna happen. You're gonna be
And
a
that stuck
teenager."
with you?
And I looked at him and said, "I'm never gonna drink. I'm never gonna do drugs. I'm never gonna do these things." And he goes, "Don't say never, because I don't want you to look back at yourself and feel like, you know, you did, you know, you went against what you believe." And I said, "No, this is who I am, and I know this already, and I've seen enough, and I don't want to put this on the future me, the future of my future other half, any of these things." And it stayed. And then it became a thing where, as an athlete,
Yeah.
I wanted an edge over the guy across town, a guy across the state, a guy across the country, competing for the same job that I was after. And if I didn't go to the parties and I didn't go do these things, and I wasn't even seen there, then
You
I
had a
had an
chance.
edge, and I would have an edge over these people that I knew were at the parties and doing these things and whatnot. And I knew that my personality was couldn't handle it. I knew that I couldn't handle. I had, as I got older, when I got fixated on certain things, that's what I was doing.
Oh, I
And-
know.
Yeah.
You put T-shirts in like in Disney.
How do? Come on, man. Now, more
Jory,
than that-
did you know that?
Jory stepped out of the room. It's Joey
it's
now.
Joey, did you know, like, I was at Disney. I don't know where I was at Disney, some shit. Like,
I was in both. I was in the park and I
Yeah.
was outside Disney. I had clothing. My clothing line was
his
everywhere.
fucking Red Chapter clothing. I'm like,
He worked hard, man.
what else does he do? what else does Brian do that I don't, motherfucker?
Stop. That's not about that.
Yeah.
But we're about out of time. But here's the thing. I want to give. Ward is sitting here.
Yes.
With us right now. Ward.
He came to both of us.
Yeah, he did, and that's what's crazy.
I know, dude.
That's crazy right now.
I saw him in my bedroom, dude, and I called you,
Yep.
and I was like, bro, this is gonna sound really fucked up. And you saw him.
Yeah, I was on the water. I was at the lake, and everything was like really crazy. And all of a sudden, I was on a jet ski, and it hit this calm area, and the sun was just going down over the hill here in Lake Havasu. And
Oh, that's where you were.
yeah, and I heard him say,
I know.
and I saw his face, that I'm okay. And I'm like, where did that come from? Like, where did, whoa, like instantly, it's bam, there he was. And I knew, but I was talking to him like hours before this happened. And he's, and I don't want to get into it. It's not fair to talk about it in public.
Stars in the sky.
Yeah.
Gonna make it. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
dude,
I was listening
that dude
to
was
it
a great
yesterday.
singer.
He was great.
Yeah. I just listened to him the other day.
So
he
did
came
I.
on my rotation
Me
at
too.
the gym, and I'm like, okay,
What is
man,
it? That
I'm hearing you.
Cool photo with his blue eyes. Or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah. Well, this one was with his daughter. The
Oh,
song he
yeah,
did with
yeah,
his
yeah.
daughter. So Ward Bell, if you go check him out on
Yeah.
social media, but he's no longer with us, but he's sitting right here with us.
He is.
Before we go, because I got to wrap this up in 2 minutes. Did you have a good time?
With you?
Yeah, man. Did you have a good
Wow,
time
dude,
sitting
I
here
fucking
talking?
love you, dude.
I love you too, man.
I do wholeheartedly. And before I go,
Please.
I got you something.
No way.
A bottle of tequila. Let's
Oh,
share.
yeah,
it.
right. Spring sobriety
So-
and get me drinking for the first time. Oh, dude, I love it. Thank you.
So here's the thing. Mucho Mistrust is my new band.
Okay.
And the EP is almost finished. And I gotta say, Mucho Mistrust is part of the reason that Mucho Mistrust is because of you.
Really?
Yeah, dude, because you were like, send me original shit.
Yes.
Send me original shit. What did I do?
Yeah.
In sobriety, I was like, I can write again. Oh my God. I'm an okay singer. Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mucho Mistrust is, the EP's almost finished. And look at that. Ooh, sexy man.
You should have given it to me before the show. I would have wore it the whole episode.
Oh.
Dude, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you. I love that I'm a part of that.
Yeah,
No, for real. Thank you.
you're welcome.
And so Mucho Mistrust is the band.
Yes.
Is your new project.
Yeah. MuchoMistrustmusic.com. DJ Jake Music is where you'll find everything.
DJ Jake Music.
That's
Okay. Okay. And then Mucho Mistrust. What's the song? I just hit you and said I really like this song of yours.
Lo siento, mama.
There we go. You sing in Spanish a little bit in the song, and
That's
that
Dunia, actually.
what's that?
That's Dunia.
Yeah. Ah.
And then, but then I sent you I Hate My Life too.
Ah.
So there's something about Mucho Mistrust that is when I was asked by one of my friends what is the genre, I said for the first time ever, I don't know.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's perfect.
I really like to hear that.
Yeah, it's perfect, and that's how I've went into making this record that I'm in the middle of as well. Well, Jason Jacobs, everybody, for everybody out there, go to DJ
Jake Music on Instagram. It's where everything. I'm a DJ too, by the way. Ha. We forgot about that.
No, we did. We talked about it. We talked about it. Yeah, we did. We did touch on that, but we've been on the air for a good 45 minutes or so, maybe 50 minutes.
It could be longer.
Bro, it like literally just flew by.
It did.
But I want to thank you, man. I love you, dude. Thank you
Love
for
you
being
too.
on the show. Man, what do you think? Sticky Paw Studios right here?
I love it. Sticky paws. I wonder, hey, why are your paws sticky, Joey?
I didn't make the name. Don't ask me.
I love it.
All
Thanks for
right.
having
So,
me.
yes, of course. Jason Jacobs was my guest today, good friend. So, this is a Hero's Journey podcast. And, Joey, do you know how to take us out after I plug our sponsors? All right. So, my name is Brian
Wait, you
Hopkins.
plug your sponsors?
I
exciting.
give. Yeah, I do.
Hey, look
that's
at
how.
that.
That's how
I want to be
keep-
a sponsored sticky paw. Is that how it got sticky?
Yeah, here we go. So I want to thank S&P Inc., JPS Computers, and West Coast Tattoo Parlor. Yes, right there. My name is Brian Hopkins. This is a Hero's Journey podcast. I want to thank Jason Jacobs for coming on the show. And stay safe, guys. Be kind.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.